Hey guys, welcome to the video. Salt here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the secondary, the Athodai, and specifically its alternate fire build. Yesterday we did the primary fire build for the Athodai, and that's because the Athodai has these two different firing modes that are wildly different than each other. And so they're effectively two different weapons that get built out completely differently. So I had a feeling this was going to be a two video kind of a weapon. So today is going to be the alt fire version of the Athodai. But before we get into it, let's go over our commenter board. Our first commenter of the last video was W2Splashy760, and our top commenter of the last video is Brandon Williams 3719. And then we have our recent channel supporters here of Whoopty-Wham, Nice Bear, and Colonel 06. Thank you so much for your support. Now, sometimes I don't go over acquisitions of weapons, but this particular one is actually kind of a weirder weapon to acquire. So I want to also thank one of our commenters, G-Wiz, in the last video for reminding me that. So to acquire the Athodai, it's going to be Venus Proxima, which is Railjack, and it's going to be in abandoned derelict caches. And each one of those is going to have a 6.45% chance to drop one of the three pieces of the Athodai. Unique and interesting things about the Athodai alternate fire is that it has innate heat on the weapon already. It has an innate 2 meter punch through. It has a 12 meter beam range. And unlike some other beam weapons, it's not able to use the Exilis mod that increases beam range. So you're really just stuck at that 12 meters. And also when you go to fire the alternate fire, it's just going to rapidly expend your entire magazine in one shot until you're out of ammo there. All right, let's go over the mods now. Galvanized Diffusion for multi-shot. Galvanized Shot for status chance and flat damage. Magnetic Might for magnetic and critical damage. Prime Target Cracker for critical damage. If you notice, we don't have any critical chance mods on the build, and that's because our Arcane that we'll get to eventually, which is Secondary Enervate, is going to deal with all of our critical chance for us. So no critical chance mods needed, only critical damage. Next, we have Primed Quick Draw. This is a weird mod that doesn't make it on most builds in the game. So why do we use it on the Athodai alt fire? Well, it's because the alternate fire completely expends your magazine every time you click it. And so you're going to spend a lot of your time reloading. And so even though Primed Quick Draw only reduces your reload by 0.9 seconds, not even a full second, it doesn't seem like it would be very valuable. It actually is very valuable just because you spend a tremendous amount of your time reloading. So this does increase your DPS by quite a bit. In the next three mod slots, we're going to be using element mods. So our first two, we're going to be using to make viral. So that's the 60/60 cold and the 60/60 toxic mod to make viral. Now, if you are using an external way to make viral, maybe you're using Nourish, maybe you're using a Panzervolp Phyla, then instead in these two slots, make corrosive. So that would be the 60/60 electric and the 60/60 toxic to make corrosive. In the last slot that we're going to be using for elements, we're going to be putting primed heated charge here, which is the big 165 heat mod. We do that to increase our heat weighting. That way heat is our highest stat here, just because heat scales infinitely. So it's a good one to be weighted the most. In the Exilis mod, this weapon has ammo issues, but the ammo issues come from its poor ammo pool. The ammo pickup is actually quite good. If you look at the magazine here, the ammo pickup, a single ammo pack is going to restore 60 shots. And without Trick Mag, you only have 72 shots. So a single ammo pack is almost completely topping you up. So the ammo pickup is not the issue. It's the ammo pool, which is really garbage. And that's where Trick Mag comes in. So instead of using like pistol ammo mutation that increases your pickups that you get, I would suggest you use Trick Mag to increase your ammo pool. Okay, and in the Arcane slot, we're going to be going for Secondary Enervate. We kind of explained this already a little bit. So on hit, increases critical chance by 10%, resets after 6 big critical hits. So this is a really good Arcane for weapons that have poor critical chance. And the primary fire doesn't have poor critical chance, but the alternate fire, the one we're doing today, does have a poor base critical chance of only 18%. This is how you build out the secondary, the Athodai, and its alternate fire configuration. I hope you guys liked it, and if you did, consider leaving a like and subscribing for future content. So now we'll have a 5-minute gameplay portion showcasing the weapon, and when that's done, we'll come back to the Orbiter and we'll give it its final score and rank. So I'll see you guys again when we come back to the Orbiter. Alrighty, we're about ready to start this gameplay portion up here. So we're gonna hack the terminal here, and we'll see how the alternate fire does.
Is attempting to purge you from this place.
Again, we're not using any externals other than what was shown on the weapon, the mods on the weapon itself. You're not going to be able to aim down sights while you're using the alternate fire of this weapon. So it's a good weapon for hip fire enjoyers. The big thing that holds this weapon back is its 12-meter range that is not really changeable. You know, a lot of other beam weapons in the game, they have access to, God, I think it's Sinister Reach or Ruinous Extension. One of those is for primaries, one of them for secondaries. I can't remember. This one unfortunately doesn't, so you're really just stuck at that 12 meters. So you really do want to play this a little bit aggressively and like getting into enemies' faces almost to try to get the most value out of it. You know, something like the Ignis Wraith, you can kind of like sit back and, you know, just punch through enemies. This one, you really want to get in their faces and punch through them. Just because 12 meters is not a lot. It's also important to know that that overdrive buff that is on the Athodai doesn't apply to the alternate fire. So, you know, that 100% ammo efficiency thing, unfortunately, we can't get it here. So, you know, where the primary doesn't really have ammo issues because it's got that 100% ammo efficiency from the overdrive trait. The alternate fire, not so much. It does have some ammo issues. My weapon taken away there. As is tradition. You can see though, Trick Mag brings us up to, what is that, 91 shots? Plus what's in the magazine. Now, previously in the past, the alternate fire was better than the primary fire for kill per minute. And after doing my testing today, it still seems about that way. Like the primary has gotten better because of that augment that came out that helps that primary fire. But it still seems like kill per minute wise, the alternate fire is still going to beat out the primary fire. So if you're looking for a trash killing weapon and you're specifically looking at the Athodai for some reason, the alternate fire, this one right here, is typically going to be better for KPM. For single target though, this is worse. Well, I don't want to say it's worse. It's actually better in some cases and worse in others. It's better against thick enemies like Thraxes, where you can stack statuses infinitely on, but it's definitely worse against like Acolytes. Acolytes, the alternate fire is doo-doo tier. Well, maybe not D, but it's not good though. But against like Thraxes and stuff, you know, you are applying a crap load of heat proc, so it's actually really good against normal big enemies. There's mini bosses like Acolytes where they can only get, you know, statuses to 4. Not really great at all. So I think in that respect, the primary fire is better. But other than that, I do think the alternate fire is still kind of beating out the primary fire. So you'll notice when we get this Acolyte, this is going to be pretty garbage against this Acolyte. Two big bursts, barely just got his shields down. 3 big bursts, he's like, that's not even a quarter damage to him. Let's get another big burst into him there. He's not even at half health. So, you know, again, not great against the Acolyte. And that comes down to Acolytes only being able to stack statuses to 4. When the Thraxes come out, you'll actually see it's really good against the Thraxes. And that's because, you know, you can stack, you know, 50, 100 heat procs on them. So we'll get Thraxus here in a couple seconds. See, both Thraxus are dead already. And there we go. Let's see what we got in 5 minutes. That is 367 kills. Pretty good. So let's go back to the Orbiter here. Welcome back to the Orbiter, guys. So let's go over how the Athodai alternate fire did in its 3 10-minute runs on Steel Path Lewis Circulus. It got 799, 726, and 805 kills, putting it comfortably in the A tier for kill per minute. Now, when it comes to single target, there's really 2 stories here. There's a story versus single target against normal heavy enemies that can have, you know, statuses stacked normally on them. And then there's the story against single target versus mini bosses that can only have statuses stacked to 4. Against normal heavy enemies, I would say this is definitely A tier for single target. And that's because, you know, it produces a lot of heat procs. So you get a lot of good damage out of it, and you get a lot of damage afterwards because of all the heat procs. Against those mini bosses, though, pretty damn garbage. I would say it's low C, almost even teetering on like a high D tier against like acolytes and other mini bosses that can only have a max of 4 statuses. Because I rank single target versus normal heavy units, though, we'll give it A tier here. But just remember, not going to feel good against acolytes. Now, for ease of use, S tier is reserved for weapons that can be played by a single-celled organism. Now, this weapon does at least require you to aim in the general direction of enemies. So I don't believe a single-celled organism could play this. I think you would probably have to have, you know, at least 2 cells maybe. So I think for ease of use, we'll give it A tier. So that's my take on the weapon. Tell me what you guys think. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. All right, bye.